So in this webinar will take place as follows. I'll do a quick introduction of the project using those slides, and later on during the demonstration, we'll give a focus on the topic of the day, which is how to leverage your project consortium and ecosystem of partners to be able to recruit the beta testers during the demonstration. So first, I'll give the introduction about the project. So ReachOut is a support action funded by the European Commission, and our goal is to help European projects in the area of software engineering, but not only, to develop market value and to reach out to their end users by develop what we call beta testing campaigns. So creating value for research projects is not just about producing the project deliverable. There's many more project attributes. So these are here, and these project attributes also create values for the project and the project results. So beta testing itself is a key phase in the software development cycle. It comes after the initial alpha version. So there's a beta version which is ready to be tested. So this beta version should be put in the hands of external end users over a short period of time. This is what we call the beta testing campaign, and this is what beta testing campaign is about. So the beta testing has a number of benefits. Those benefits include providing a focus point that will help all the partners of the project align their expectations. So also the beta testers provide feedback. So the feedback provided by the beta tester can be used to increase the quality of the product. As I mentioned earlier, beta testing enforces some of those other product attributes, in the sense that in order to run the beta testing campaign, you will have to provide some documentation and packaging, and thus increase the project value. And finally, of course, the feedback that the beta testers will provide to your project are very useful to identify either future features or future exploitation of the project results. Why do we need to test a research project? Well, basically for a project, if the project is able to develop and implement their own beta testing campaign, it's an important milestone. It proves that the project has all what it takes to engage with external actors, to bring value to the market, and to develop its own ecosystem. So thus the tagline here: when the project can launch their beta testing campaign of its results, it means that it has what it takes to bring value to the market, engage with the users and partners, and develop the ecosystem. So within ReachOut, we have developed a whole 5-stage methodology. I will not go into the detail of those boxes. And this methodology helps you implement your own beta testing campaign. All the details are available on the ReachOut website. I'll show you where in a minute during the demonstration. And this includes deciding about the objectives of the campaign and the role of the partners, preparing the software for beta testing, writing all the necessary documentation and communication material, then engaging with the beta testers and managing them and running the campaign, and finally analyzing the results and sharing them. So we provide all the tools and templates for each of those building blocks. This is the role of what we call the beta center, and I'll show you those tools in a minute. So they range from what's listed on the right, which I'll describe briefly now. So the entry point is the campaign manager page. So that's a page that's dedicated for campaign managers. They can self-service register on the beta tester, and then in their management page, they can access all the resources that they need to run their beta testing campaigns. The first one is a campaign page, which can be generated using a template form that we provide. So when the campaign is generated, we also generate a questionnaire, which I'll come to in a minute. We provide campaign managers with a monitoring dashboard. So this dashboard is made up of 24 checkpoints about the management, the preparation, and the execution of the campaign. The dashboard can be used to monitor the progress of the campaign together with the ReachOut project team, communicate with the partners and the reviewers. So about the questionnaire itself, we provide campaign manager with a generic questionnaire, which is based on a template that we've developed, made of 34 questions. It's all customizable. You can reword, add, remove questions, add your own questions. And when the beta tester provides feedback, the campaign manager will receive an email. And also, it's possible to access all the responses through a dashboard. So either statistics about the responses, like shown here. You can also export all the results in any format you like. So the questionnaire itself is based on a third-party software, which is called Lime Survey, which we've integrated in the beta center. So there's a number of templates and tools also available. So for documentation, we provide checklists and example. We provide a communication package for promoting the campaign, recruiting and motivating the beta testers. We provide also examples of fine prints. And finally, the analysis of the campaign results will be run together with the ReachOut project team and shared with the campaign managers. So I'll show you where these are in the beta center in a minute. So finally, regarding the timeline of the campaign, so typically a beta testing campaign could take something between 3 and 5 months. So with the first phase here of preparation, 1 to 2 months, depending how mature you are in preparing the beta testing campaign. Then the second phase itself, which is executing the campaign and engaging with the beta testers. So that could take 1 to 2 months. And finally, we leave some time to analyze the results at the end. So how do you get started? As I already mentioned, the first step is to go to the ReachOut website and register your project. Then as part of our role to accompany projects, we can set up a call with you to go through the whole methodology, check your timeline, and help you implement the beta testing campaign, including the questionnaire itself, the emails, etc. The ReachOut project has been funded by the European Commission originally for H2020 projects. It's also open to all European SMEs and open source projects. And that's it for this quick introduction. So I can now go to the demonstration. In the demonstration, so basically this is the ReachOut website, and so we've tried to make it as simple as possible. So there's two main buttons, one if you're a project leader, one if you're a beta tester. So in our case, let's say we're a project leader. So if I click on this button, the first step is to register as a campaign manager. So in order to register as a campaign manager, I need to enter some information. So I'll copy the email address here, which I've prepared. So basically I'm Alex and my email is this. I'm in France and I choose a username. So my username here will be this one. I choose my password. For the sake of the demonstration, there's an informed consent form, which I was talking about, which tells you what we do with the data. So let's just accept this one. And I cannot really read this, so I just change the captcha to, but whatever. And I register. So upon registration, it tells me that I've received an email address, and I can see that I have an activation link here. So I can now log in. Then what I get to is I get to my home page here. So in my home page, I can see that I've already registered a project here, but then my goal is, let's just pretend I haven't. So I will register a new project. So here I've prepared some information about this new project, which I call this. So it's the webinar about ReachOut. And when I create this new project, I need to give some information. So first of all, so let's just pretend I'm doing a campaign for testing ReachOut. So I give the URL of the project. I just choose the project logo, which I must have here somewhere. So just upload the logo. Then I put a description of my project, which is the short description, and a longer description so that when the campaign's open, people can know what the project is about, and then I can save the project. So when I've saved the project, so the project is an umbrella for potentially several campaigns. When you have a project, typically you may want to run several beta testing campaigns. So in your H2020 projects, you might have different work packages producing different results. So you can set up a campaign for each of them. Or if you're representing a work package, you might have several results within that work package. So it's possible throughout the duration of your beta testing campaigns to create several ones. So then you can choose the type of projects. So we have, as I mentioned and as you saw, we have a template, a set of questions, which is slightly different for SaaS, mobile, and software. We've also developed very recently, so that came out this week, a set of quite different questions which are targeting IOF 2020, so Internet of Food and Farms. So I guess in our case, for the case of Info project, for example, we're more interested in software. So the questions are worded slightly differently if it's a SaaS service, a mobile app, or a software project. So here in our case, ReachOut is typically a SaaS service, so we'll just choose that one. And we give a name to the campaign. So here the campaign name could be testing the ReachOut platform. So then I create the campaign. So this takes me to the campaign form. I decide when the campaign will start. So let's say it will start today, when it will end. So let's say it's just running for a month. And then you enter a number of information which will be displayed for the beta testers. So the first one is information about how much time you think it will take to test the software. So it really much depends on your beta testing use case. So here is just an hour. Then you describe the campaign objectives. So here I've got it already prepared. So typically it's, oh, sorry, no, that's not the one. Campaign objectives is this one. So the goal of the campaign is to do a number of things. So there is a syntax which allows you to do URLs. So here there's an example on how to write a URL. There's also a whole syntax. We can help you when you design the campaign page with the syntax that's used here. That's part of our job as well. Then you describe who can test this, who are the target beta testers. So here we say it's mostly business users for ReachOut and any level, doesn't really matter. Then you provide the requirements. So if there are requirements for your beta tester, so that could be, for example, if they need to have a special browser, if they need to pre-install some software, if they have some requirements on their CPU. I mean, anything that you would have. So here for ReachOut, testing ReachOut, there's a number of requirements. You need to have ready all the information, blah blah blah. Then, and very importantly, you need to provide your beta tester with a testing scenario, which should be as detailed as possible. So typically, you want the beta testers to test your product, and you want to have feedback that would be valuable to you. So in order for the feedback to be valuable, you should not just say, please play along with my software. You should just say, you should give instructions to the beta testers so that they know what they have to do. So here, basically, I put the instructions, which is what I'm doing now, to be able to create the campaign. But in your case, it could be install software, which is available here. Go to the first page, log in with the special credentials or what, or create a new account, and navigate to screen such and such, enter data, play with the output. So it's important to have the scenario as detailed as possible. And the last part is incentives. So sometimes H2020 projects or companies trying to run a beta testing campaigns have some incentives for beta testers. So they could include some goodies or some access to future releases or anything. So one important point to know is that for ReachOut, we have an incentive, which is, and I'll show you that in a minute. There's an incentive in the ReachOut project, which is a lottery that we will run at the end of the project. Also, we're building what we call the ReachOut Hall of Fame. So the ReachOut Hall of Fame is a place where we list all the all the beta testers, if they agree, uh, that have participated in a campaign. So it's this web page which will integrate. I don't think it's not integrated in the menu yet. It will be in a few days. So we basically put the names of the beta testers who are happy to do so. So we've asked their permission to recognize their efforts. So just the fact that beta testers are recognized in the page, we had good feedback from that. They were very happy that we did so. And so any other incentives? So in one of the use cases we have, they're preparing their campaign at the moment. They will offer some discount. So the H20 project has got some money to offer some discounts for products. So that's also a possibility. So when you're done, you save the campaign. So saving the campaign does a number of operations behind the scene. That's why it can take a few seconds. So here it was quite quick, so that's okay. So basically, it gives you now a preview, because the campaign is not published. It gives you a preview of what the beta testers will see when they access the campaign page on ReachOut. So it will show them the start and end date and all the information that we've just input. So now, and as it says, the campaign is not published, you must customize and activate the questionnaire. So here, if I go to Lime Survey and I log into Lime Survey, I can see now, and this was the question. Let me just make it bigger. You see now the list of questions, so you can view that also as a structure. So you can see the list of questions that we've prepared. So each of them are customizable. So here, let's just take the first one. The first one says, did you manage to access the software? So here in the case of ReachOut, the question is not, did you manage to access and set up the software? It could be, did you manage to, for example, register on ReachOut? So that's the first one. Let me just close this. And then there's a typical question about the functional feedback. So let me take this one. So this one is a question. So every time you can preview the question, this one says, did you manage to execute function X, function Y, function Z? So typically that needs to be customized. So I need to edit the sub questions. So I can say, did you manage to create your project? Did you manage to create your campaign? Did you manage if you want to add a question, you can. And so when you're quite happy about setting it up, what you can do is you can preview the survey. And so again, this is just a preview mode because the survey is not active. So you can see the different questions. Did you manage to register and reach out? And then you can execute as a test mode. So here the question's mandatory because it's got a little star. Again, that's a parameter you can change. So yes, I managed. How did I rate the setup? So it was very easy. Next, and then it gives you a preview of this question group. Did you manage to go through the whole scenario? Yes. Following the scenario, were you able to? Yes, 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 for example, etc., etc., etc. So you can, at any time, you can preview the questionnaire. And if you're not happy, you can go back to the questionnaire and you can edit the questions. And once you're finished, if you go back to the main, to the entry, you can what we call activate the survey. So let's just do that for the sake of the exercise. So here, let me say I want to activate the survey. So you should, once you've activated the survey, you will be able to change the wording of some questions, but you will not be able to add any new questions or delete new questions. So you should do that once you're fairly certain, basically once you're ready to open the survey. So let me just save and activate the survey. So if I go back here and I go back to my home page, what I can see now is, so I have the previous project, which we just forget about now, and I have the new one, which is the ReachOut webinar, and which has got this new campaign. So I can still edit the description of the project. There's also a little Twitter button here that I can use if I want to tweet. So we've predefined a tweet so that you can communicate about the campaign and about test. And this is now the the campaign that's valid and open. I'm still in my user because I'm signed in, so I can edit the campaign and customize the questionnaire. So now let's just take another hat. So I will completely log out here, and let me just log out here as well. Don't do this. I log out here, and now let's just play the role of being a beta tester. So if I'm a beta tester, I can check out some campaigns. So I can see there's a new one about the webinar here. Ooh, that looks interesting. So this is what the beta tester can see. So as you see, they haven't got the little Twitter things because this is a public page, and they cannot customize the questionnaire because this is a public page. So the beta tester can enter their email address. So let's just say the beta tester subscribes here. And if the beta tester subscribes to the platform, beta tester will receive some email. And also from what I, oh, sorry, I'm not in the, I know I would need to log out for ReachOut. The user, the campaign manager will receive an email saying that there is a beta tester that's subscribed. So the reason why we provide this as an optional feature is that we also create a campaign mailing list. So each campaign has a mailing list which is hosted on the OW2 infrastructure, which can act as a forum where the beta testers will be able to ask questions. So, for example, if they have questions regarding the scenario, something they don't understand, if they need more information, they will be able to interact with the campaign manager through this. And of course, the beta tester can fill in the questionnaire. So here, did I manage to register? Let's just say no, because I didn't. Setup was easy. Next questions, I went through the scenario. I was able to do everything. Um, does the software behave as it should? Well, no, because the registration doesn't work. That's an example. Which feature are most important to you? So let's just write test here. Which feature are least important? Are there any feature we should add? Do you have suggestions to improve the software? The next, did I try the software beyond the scenario? Let's just say no. And why didn't I do it? Because it's a webinar and I'm time constrained. What didn't work as expected? Well, again here, that was registration for the demo effect. Is the user interface easy? So I think it's easy. The performance was okay despite the network lag. Is the software stable? Let's say, well, it's somewhat stable. How many bugs are run into one? And it was the registration. Is it stable? So is it testable? Sorry, can it be tested? Yes. Am I interested in using it? Yes, I am. Please tell us why. So I can put some reasons here. Does it want to make me know more about it? Yes. Am I interested in exploring it further? Would I recommend it? Possibly. Have I shared it with anybody else? Well, yes, I'm sharing it with everybody now, so through webinar. And would I be willing to participate in helping build the software? So that's an optional question. And did it run according to the documentation? Yes. What's the most confusing part? So let's just test here. And what's the overall impression? So it's good. And now the last screen. So how did I learn? Well, I work in a project. I work in industry. I'm a developer. I'm a member of the project. And so here I can put my email address if I want to participate in the incentives. So let's just put my email address here again as a result, as an example. Okay, so now I'm fine. So as a beta tester, I finished doing the work and I filled in the questionnaire. So if I go back to Lime survey, let's just register here. I can list my surveys and I can see the one that's been created today. So that's the first one here. So if I go into this survey and I go to see what the responses are, so normally the campaign manager also receives an email for each response. And I have access to all the responses. So I see there's a full response. So I can view the statistics if I want to. So statistics won't be very interesting here because there's only one. So if you have several, of course, you'd have pie charts with more statistics. So the statistics gives you pie charts typically for or graph bars for those answers which are not free text, which makes sense. And also what I want to look at for the responses is to view them. So I can display the responses here. So they're displayed on the screen, which is not very usable, but I can export the responses to any format I want. So for example, CSV could be good enough. So let's just export them as CSV for now. And I can open it with my favorite spreadsheet. And if I open it, I can view the answers. So it was submitted today. And then I can see all the different answers that the beta testers have provided. And including at the end, I have the contact detail here, etc., etc. So all the answers are available in several types of formats. So basically, that's it for the functional demonstration. So I'll go back to the ReachOut Beta Center to show you some of those features that I was mentioning during the slide work, which you might have already seen. So typically, the method and information about the monitoring dashboard. So I didn't show you the dashboard. We can do that in a few seconds. About software packaging, about documentation, about beta tester incentives, about the beta testing agreement. There's information also about what we call the communication package. So the communication package is a number of emails, and this is where we can focus on how to recruit beta testers. So typically to recruit beta testers, there's several ways. The first way, of course, is you and your project, because you're in the best position to know who your potential testers can be. So through your knowledge of your ecosystem and your project partners, you can identify target beta testers. So one first recommendation we make to projects is you should advertise the campaign inside the project itself. So the project itself might have several work packages, and often the portion of the software to be tested has been developed by some partners. And it's interesting that the other partners who have more or less an external eye sometimes test the software, what has to be tested. So it's good practice to widely advertise the beta testing campaign within the project to other project members. Them themselves should be encouraged to advertise it to their staff, even those staffs who are not a member of the project can be interested. Academic partners offer a great source of testing potential through students, so they're good beta tester candidates. And so if you have any partner from the academic world, usually they can advertise that to their students. This is a good source of beta testers that were found in the past. So secondly, of course, ReachOut, we will advertise your campaign once it's public. So we do some, so if you go back to the ReachOut homepage, as you can see in the banner here, we we advertised the past campaign, and in the events as well. We in the news and events page, we do advertise new campaigns. So here there was a CPP beta testing campaign which was launched a few days ago. So we did in August. So this one was advertised through both this events page, through the banner on the main page, and also through the newsletter that was distributed yesterday. So we'll do some advertising for you for your campaign. And the third source of beta testers is previous projects. So we kind of have a moral agreement with projects that once projects have submitted a campaign and run the campaign on ReachOut, they will be contacted. So we have them on the mailing list, and we'll contact them when a new campaign is open, so that they also, if they can, provide some testers for other projects who advertise their campaigns. So in summary, about recruiting beta testers. So it's an activity where, of course, we can help both through communication and also by advertising it to previous projects who have had a campaign on ReachOut. And but of course, since you're the best people to know your own ecosystem of potential users and partners, it's also up to you to contact directly your source of beta testers, including the project partners and their staff, and advertise your beta testing campaign. So if I just go back to this tools and templates, and especially the communication package, we've developed a number of materials, an announcement email which you could cut and paste and customize, announcement tweets as well, as I mentioned before. We also provide you with, if you like to have a campaign webpage on your own website. So there's the one on ReachOut, but you could have one on your own website about the campaign itself, and also some campaign flyers which you could distribute. So there's a sample flyer that we did for in a previous project for the stamp project. Sorry, so how do I open this? So this is a typical sample that you could do, and you could distribute that. Well, I know this is not the time at the moment with COVID, but you could distribute that on trade show or on mailing lists, or put that on your website. And that more or less wraps up the demonstration here. So don't hesitate to get started to register your project and website. So we'll fix that issue first. And also another important message, which I said earlier and again, we're here to help you. So as part of being a coordination and support action, our role is to help projects, so we can set up uh, talks and one-to-one webinars anytime you like, go through your campaign, provide you with support if you need help to fine-tune the questionnaire for the syntax of the campaign page. If you have any question about the methodology, we're here to help.